Wait, you still sound like the old LaRusso from back then,
That's
by
it.
the way.
I keep the New York accent. Yeah. This place sucks, man. It sucks. No, we love it here. We love it here. I was just reminiscing.
No, that is how New Yorkers say that they love Florida.
That's right.
Florida sucks.
That's right.
But I live here.
Testing.
There you
Oh,
go.
there we go.
Okay.
Alrighty. Hi, my name is Dominic, by the way.
Hey, Dominic.
Honored to meet you. All right. Quick question. All right, so you've seen the new Karate Kid, obviously, right?
There was a new Karate Kid.
The one with Jaden Smith?
Oh, no, that's it. Sorry. Thank you.
There you go. The one with Jaden Smith.
Jaden Smith. That's right.
All right. Did you ever see that one?
I did see it. Yes.
Alrighty. So did they ever come up to you as far as making a cameo in the movie by any chance?
They did. Will Smith called me. He knows Jaden. And I think he. I was at the Sundance Film Festival when I found out they were remaking the Karate Kid. So it was like kind of odd to just think I was old enough they'd remake a movie I was in. And then on top of that, so they all asked me questions. What do you think? What do you think? And I said, well, I'm never a big fan of movies that I've seen already. I'm not, I wish there were more original stories, right? So thank you. So next day in the newspaper, it says Macchio slams Karate Kid remake.
Oh, wow.
Which I wasn't slamming, I was just saying, I was trying to be diplomatic. So the phone rings, it's Will Smith going, listen, I know I'm messing with you, baby. I know it, but we're going to, uphold we have nothing but respect for the film and all this stuff. And he put Jaden on the phone. I felt very much like Obi-Wan to young Skywalker, or maybe, that's what I felt like on the phone, talking to the kid. What I think of the remake of the Karate Kid, the 2010 remake, is in time, it's just proven that it's only enhanced the legacy of what the original was. I think they did a good job for making a 2010 version of the movie. It was more like ninja video game fighting than what our film was, which was a little bit more, it's just a different time, different type of film. It also was an example of how you could tell the exact same story but make a completely and totally different movie. The heart, soul, and magic of the original Karate Kid will, as a testament to all you guys being here, is something that has just stood the test of time, and I'm not so sure that in 33 years they're going to be talking about that version of the Karate Kid as they are the one we did. So all good. It only enhanced the original and sent all the parents to grab their kids and said, well, now you have to watch this one. So now I got more kids seeing the Karate Kid than ever.
Appreciate it. Long live the crane kick.
That's it, man.
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Tracy.
Hi, Tracy.
So I was wondering, so you started acting at a very young age. What made you want to pursue acting?
When I was a kid, I wanted to be Gene Kelly, like the dancer Gene Kelly, and then the great film actor, when I was a little kid. My mom always watched the old MGM musicals. All the kids in the audience are like, what's an MGM musical? But, so I grew up watching that, and I wanted to, so I took some dance lessons. We'll cut to Dancing with the Stars later, but anyway. And I enjoyed being in the school plays and musicals, so I from there, was spotted in some, talent contest and competition, and went in to audition for commercials, and then things started to happen, and I started working before I actually started taking it seriously. And then as I got involved, I did this show called 8 is Enough. I was 9 was too many, and that was the end of that show. And so from there, I started studying acting at that point, and then my big break for me was The Outsiders. That was that was kind of a I read that book when I was 12, and so getting that role and preparing for the audition for that role was when I really got bit by the bug. Like, I have to succeed at this, and that was a big win for me.
And may I ask one more question?
Sure.
What was your favorite set to be on?
I'll just say The Outsiders again.
Yeah.
I read the book when I was 12. So when something has that kind of effect on you, it was the first book You know, people remember. I mean, are you in the Harry Potter mode right now? So
Yes, I
I'm sure that book had some influence on you. So The Outsiders was like my first love of literature, and so getting to play that role and walk in those shoes of the character that I read when I was a kid was a dream come true. And that cast obviously has gone on.
Great.
It's insane cast.
How old were you when you did
I
that movie?
was 18, turned 19. I just looked, I had the Macchio curve, so I looked like I was 13. You know, there's like a 5 to 7 year, I'm still trying to hang on to it.
doing great.
You know, so The Outsiders is special, and the Karate Kid, the set of the Karate Kid was, because of the late, great Pat Morita and his brilliance in that role. Yeah, give it up to Pat. There's so many special memories because what has now become the magic of that film, I remember those moments happening as they happened, and that's kind of wonderful. So pretty lucky in that respect.
Awesome. Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
You got it.
Hello.
Hi.
I have two questions. First one, between the Karate Kid Part 2 and Part 3, what was your favorite place to shoot at
Between those two movies?
between the three movies?
The three movies. Well, Karate Kid Part 2 we shot mostly in Hawaii, so that didn't stink. It was nice being there. They built that whole village. That was all, I mean, all that stuff was Hollywood magic. I mean, all the stone walls were basically plastic.
Wow.
You know, it was
Which
just.
island was that on?
It was Oahu. It was on, so where Waikiki is. It was just the windward side of the island. So, where it rained like here.
Yeah.
5 o'clock, it rained.
There's just like tons of
Yeah,
surfing
but
out
so that was, and the rest of it was shot in and around the San Fernando Valley of Los Angeles, which became its own star of the movie.
Yeah.
All Valley, you know,
That's
karate
right.
championship.
And the second question is from my mother. She wants to know how your time was on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, well, I love I get big love from the moms for Dancing with the Stars, and the grandmoms too. They're like, oh, he's been married for 25 years. We love this guy. Dancing with the Stars is amazing. My goal was not to suck. So I think
You did not suck.
I reached that level. It was brutal. It was very difficult to do just physically. I was, you know, once again with the Macchio curve, I was 49 at the time, which makes me stupidly 55 right now, which is it's just wrong.
Unreal.
So I love doing it. I love dancing with Karina. She was fantastic. We forged a great friendship, and it was like instantly running for president. The Monday morning before the first show, I just walked down the street as normal and got my Starbucks. The Tuesday morning after the first performance, I walked down the street and people were pulling their cars over and honking the horns and giving me free espresso macchiatos, and you know, it's just an instant embrace by America, and I felt that, and I think I was the type of personality on that show that had that nostalgic, I played the nostalgia card, or I had that going for me, and I thought I tried to represent myself well, and it turned out to be a good thing that I will only do once. Respectfully.
So no All-Star season?
No, also, I think I always say this: the apple gets less shiny the more you look at it. So I got to wow them once or twice. I think that I would, and plus it's 6 years later now.
And it was a lot of work. Right?
It's brutal. It's so much work. It is really so much work.
Was it harder than the karate training?
By far. I was 21 and, you know, jumped 30 years later. It's a little easier to bounce back in your 20s. But I am grateful for the platform that Dancing with the Stars gave me. And I have yet to run into anyone on the street that says, dude, you were really embarrassing. For the most part, they're like, we voted for you, we loved you, it was great. So that's a nice thing. That's a nice thing.
Thank you so much.
You got it.
Hello.
Hi.
So,
You can take it out of the stand if you want
Okay.
to, too.
hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm Daniel.
Hey, Daniel, sorry.
Oh, right.
To
Oh,
carry the Daniels on. Now, you should be darn proud. I named my son Daniel. That's a great name.
I just realized that.
You just realized
I
it?
just realized my name is. Never mind. I have 3 questions for you. Yes. The Outsiders, that was directed by
Francis Ford Coppola, yes.
What was it like working with someone like him?
It was amazing. It was a dream come true for all us guys at that point. When you look at that cast, to have the opportunity to be in that, classic novel, and then to have the guy who directed The Godfather and Apocalypse Now, and that's just 2 I mentioned of great films. He's one of the greatest storytellers of our time, and he was very. Francis was he came out of the theater world, so he really created a rehearsal atmosphere for 2 weeks before we even shot the film. And we would do, sense memory exercises and different kinds of improvisational sequences that were real important to him to sort of forge the friendships and the reality of the greasers and the socias. He kept the socias separated from the greasers. They had all the nice hotel rooms. We got all the crappy hotel rooms. They had all the nice leather-bound scripts. We had just pages. He was trying, so Francis was big about creating the whole environment. So when we shot the film,
That's cool.
we then felt like we were living in that world and not necessarily just, getting paid to hit the mark and say the lines.
Wow.
So it was fantastic.
During the filming of My Cousin Vinny, which is a great comedy, by the way,
Yes.
Give it up for my cousin Vinny.
Yeah. Awesome.
We only have 1 of the 2 Utes up here. Well, we got 2. She looks damn youthful right here.
Thank you.
Joe Pesci, what was it like working on set with him and just acting alongside him?
Well, he's really about 6'2". Nobody knows this. No. Listen, he had just won the Oscar. When we were shooting My Cousin Vinny, he won the Academy Award Best Supporting Actor in Goodfellas. It was Joe Pesci. When you look at, Raging Bull, one of my favorite performances of his, not to mention Lethal Weapon series. He had the ability to do comedy and great drama.
Yeah.
There are not a lot of actors that could do both sides of it. He's truly a character actor, but this was his first real big lead role, and thanks to him and a great script and Marissa Tomei, I call My Cousin Vinny the late for dinner movie, because if that movie's on when you're ready to leave the house, you're just going to be late for dinner, because you just got to keep watching.
True.
And question number 3, and then we should probably
And
limit.
then what we'll do is we'll just do 1 question, and then if you have another question, you'll have to go to the back of the line. Daniel, you slipped in your extra questions, but after that, we'll just do 1 per, and then get back online after that. Okay,
Question
go ahead.
Number 3, this goes back to The Outsiders. Working with, I think, was Tom Cruise on the, yeah, well, he was on there. What was it like working with the young actors around, or interacting with them and the cast?
So what was it like working with all the actors on The Outsiders?
And who would eventually go on to other.
Yeah, listen, it was a launching pad for so many of us. I guess at that point, Tom Cruise was in a movie called Taps, and Leif Garrett was who played Benjamin.
These tech guys are getting smaller and smaller.
Joe Pesci, everybody, Joe Pesci. That's my man Benjamin right there. Good job, Benjamin. There were, what did I say, Leif Garrett was sort of like one of the most famous guys. He was like a teen idol singer at the time. He played one of the socias, but we were all, Matt Dillon had a couple of films at that point. But when you look at, Diane Lane and Rob Lowe and Emilio Estevez, and like I said, Patrick Swayze, late great Patrick Swayze, we miss him. It was thank you. Give it up for Patrick. What a great career. It was, we all knew we were in the movie that everybody wanted to be in. And with the great Francis Coppola directing us, so...
yeah, you even knew it while you were making it.
Yeah, we didn't know it was going to, go on to, we had hoped. And the movie was actually met with mixed reviews, not negative reviews, but, because it's such a build-up. It was like acting camp. It really was. We learned a lot. I learned a lot, and it was, Johnny Cade. I mean, I get to say Steak Old Pony Boy. I mean, come on. I get to die. It was the greatest role ever. All right. Thank you, Daniel-san.
Okay, so again, we'll just do one question each. And then if you have another, you can just go on the back of the line.
Question is, if you were able to remake the Karate Kid Part 3, seeing though it's not that as compared to 1 and 2, what would you want for your ideas?
That's a great question, because it's been on record more than once that I've always was frustrated with the way the story worked in Karate Kid Part 3. It seemed to me that they were going back and sort of redoing versions of the first movie without, and I felt that Daniel LaRusso didn't learn any lessons. He was making, they didn't listen to me, but the check did clear, so it wasn't the worst thing in the world. But I would have liked to have seen a little more growth in LaRusso in the third movie, as I would believe it would have been the case in real life. I don't know, story-wise what that would have been, but I felt at the end of the day it could have served itself better by showing growth. And the protagonist, the next step.
Yeah,
The
like
next
eventually he should have been an assassin, right?
step. That's it. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Donovan. I have one question. In the first movie, I have a question.
Step a little closer to the microphone.
I have a question and a follow-up question.
Okay?
Well, we're only doing one question now because the line is so long.
Well, the first question kind of goes into
Just ask them.
okay. When you caught the fly with the chopsticks, was that actual, like, did you actually have to do it, or was it already, like,
It's a good
glued
question.
on?
That's a great question. I have a good story to go with that. I'll try to keep it nice and tight. Nowadays, you shoot that scene, it'll all be computer-generated images. It'll all be, special effects. We were trying to actually catch a fly with chopsticks.
Oh my
Not so easy. We had one of the still photographer on this set would actually be able to catch flies with his hand. And he would tie a little piece of thin fishing line, lasso these flies. And they'd fly around like a dog on a leash until they got so exhausted and they just hang there. But we tried doing it so it would fly, and I would try to grab the monofilament, the piece of fishing line, and catch the fly, but I wound up decapitating 4 of fly. The heads went. Then we did one where we glued a live fly, one wing on the back of the chopsticks, and then I would just turn it like it's there. That didn't work either. They had 4 or 5 different ways of doing it. It took us, we shot that scene over a succession of days. Finally, if you see the movie, there's 2 angles, there's 2 cuts. I catch it, and then it cuts to another angle and another angle. So with the magic of editing, it makes it look like I actually catch the fly. If you look close, in one shot, the fly is at the end of the chopsticks, and another shot, the fly is all the way down here. There you go. That's a good story, right?
Yeah,
All right.
that's way cooler than CGI.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm short, sorry, hi.
Hi, how are you?
That was a great story, and I do agree. So I'm glad that you mentioned that late night movie or late night missing dinner sort of situation about My Cousin Vinny, because I'm sure everybody here shares that sentiment. It's one of those films that you really I'm not going to make it to my date. I'm not making it to my appointment. I'm watching this movie. So my question is there any film that maybe you are in or not in that you feel is also your movie that if I'm going to walk out the door, but this movie is on, I'm going to finish watching it?
Wow, there's a bunch of them. One that comes to mind, because it was just on the other night, and I referenced it earlier, is Apocalypse Now. Once Martin Sheen gets on that boat and starts heading up the river, he's got to get me to Marlon Brando. I'm not going anywhere. For whatever the reason. The Godfather's another one to turn off. Very tough to turn that off. God, I'm going way back. On the Waterfront is one that I love. Raging Bull is another one. And then, God, what was on the other day? I was watching with my son. Forrest Gump.
Oh, yes.
It's just, you just think it's over, but you just have to wait for those next moments. So that's a couple off the top of my head. But My Cousin Vinny has that. Every setup pays off so well. And it's interesting, The Karate Kid and My Cousin Vinny, totally different types of films in their tone, but both have those kind of setups that all pay off. Just like all the chores and sanding and painting and waxing the car, it pays off. You know, all that stuff pays off. That's just great storytelling. So I got lucky a couple of times there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How are you? I'm so nervous. I'm sorry.
It's okay. All Cobra Kai need to be removed. No, I'm
sorry.
joking.
I couldn't find my Miyagi-Do shirt. Was in
That's
the laundry.
okay. It's
Sorry.
okay. You're in. You're in.
But we came here to see you, so thank you for coming to Fort Lauderdale. Question. All the movie questions are great, and I kind of forgot what I was going to say on the way up here, but my boyfriend, Kevin, over there, made me watch on the way here your Funny or Die skit that you did.
The wax on, bleep
Oh my
off.
God. If you didn't see that, anybody here, that is the funniest thing I've probably ever seen in my life. Question what that is, are you really that nice in person?
No.
No? Because I believed every bit of that. And I was like, wait a minute.
I love wax on, F off, as we call it. Was my brainchild. When the remake was coming out, I said, I can't sit here and let this movie come out without doing something. And I came up with that concept. It was if you haven't seen it, it's a 4-minute like trailer to a documentary that doesn't exist, but it is me.
Brilliant.
It is me ripping myself a new one on my own terms. It's great. I'm very proud of it. But it was the concept. It was the whole Tiger Woods thing scandal going on, the Charlie Sheen stuff, and the Sandra Bullock's husband at the time. So I said, boy, if only I had one of those scandals, I'd have a major motion picture coming out right now. So where my family did an intervention on the concept is the guy is so nice. We have to fix that because nothing is going to work for him in life if he's that nice. So no, I mean, I do have the reputation of being a nice, friendly, affable guy. Ask my wife and kids, totally not that nice. But I'm trying to fool you all. So it was exaggerated for effect.
Okay, gotcha. It was great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello, hello.
What's up?
One quick question. Out of all the Karate Kids, which one was your favorite?
The original. The original, the first film, mainly because, and I thought the first sequel, Karate Kid Part 2, was a very, very good follow-up. I just feel all the setups, like I was saying, that paid off, it worked on such a human level, the fish out of water, the adolescent needing that guidance, having the sort of human Yoda that we all wish we had in Mr. Miyagi. The waxing the car, the sanding the floor, the painting the fence, and then all that paying off, and then the magic of the crane kick. Who knew? And then you get him a body bag and all that other sweep the leg stuff that goes along with it. I mean, Cobra Kai now, ironically, is more relevant in pop culture than it even was 20 years ago. And that is awesome. And that's all from that.
Great. Thank you for your time.
Good stuff.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good.
Okay, let's go. So, just to mix it up, just to kind of just give you different questions, really general question. What's your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie?
Horror movie.
Wow. I'm not the biggest horror fan, and I don't even know if this falls. See, this might not, you might just, it might be a wuss answer, because it may not even be considered a horror film. This is probably not a horror, it's probably more of a thriller. I was blown away by Silence of the Lambs when I first saw it.
That works.
Does that fall in?
That definitely works.
The performances, I was scared out of they carried the nightmares later, all this stuff. I'm not a blood and gore guy. I mean, I did see Get Out, which is more of a comedy, but I think it's more of a comedy. But when you combine the two, that somewhat works sometimes. But that's as far as I go.
Okay.
Good. I'm glad I didn't suck at that answer. Okay.
And not a question, a quick request. My sister and brother-in-law love My Cousin Vinny, and it would mean so much to me if you could just give them a shout out. Their anniversary was just last week. Michael and Crystal, the camera's right there. If you could just shout out to them real quick. Michael and Crystal.
Michael and Crystal, happy anniversary. I'm doing this because this guy has asked me to do it. but may you stay married as long as I have, and it's a long time. So the
Thanks,
pressure
dude.
is on.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ralph, I had a chance today to explain to you how much Karate Kid meant to me, so thank you. I'll ask something else, though. Some of my favorite Entourage episodes were when you did the cameo.
That's right.
With Johnny Drama. Did you enjoy doing that? Did you break out of your comfort zone a little bit in acting in those
Well, let's
episodes?
put it this way. I worked for 16 hours at the Playboy Mansion. So that was what I had to do in Entourage, which is not the worst day at the office. Although you did feel a need to cleanse once you got back. Yeah, I thought it was the perfect time. It was the first time I ever played myself, and knowing Kevin Dillon through his brother Matt from The Outsiders, and his character, Drama's character, is one of my favorite characters on that show. It was just it was a great match. And it wasn't too much, it was just enough. And from what I understand, that's been voted as like one of the top 5 episodes of the series. So definitely. I did not let the monkeys out of the cage. It was Pauly Shore. All right.
Thank you, Ralph.
You got it, buddy.
Hi, how are you doing? My
Good.
name's Larry.
Hey, man.
Me and my brother, our favorite movie from you is Crossroads. And what is
nice
a moment that you remember from being on the set that, sticks with you after all this time?
Yeah, listen, Crossroads is arguably one of the best looking movies I've ever been in, just cinematography wise, and the music is just kick-ass great. Great blues. Steve Vai did it, and Ry Cooder with all the bottleneck slide stuff. I worked very, very hard to look like I was playing guitar. I could not play guitar. I learned how to play basics, but it was all to playback. But it was really important to me and the director, Walter Hill, that it looked like I was playing. And so I remember spending a lot of time, because I had to learn all different styles. I had to learn blues, I had to learn classical, acoustic, electric, bottleneck. And there's all different ways of doing that. So the most fun of Crossroads was doing the final guitar duel, that Eugene's Bag of Tricks, crowd cheering, it was like the ultimate teen on your bed in your bedroom playing air guitar, crowd going crazy. And then we'd break for lunch, and I couldn't get Mary Had a Little Lamb out of the damn thing. So it was like the best fantasy shoot of all time, getting to be the rock star for a moment. And as soon as the camera shut down, I just, walked out of the room.
Yeah, you inspired my brother to learn guitar. He picked it up in one summer and literally would just watch
That's fantastic.
Crossroads back to back. And
It's great stuff, man. It's great to hear. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Lindsay.
Hi, Lindsay.
Hi. Well, I think many of your movies are late for dinner movies, but Outsiders was one of my first loves in life. And I was wondering if you remembered Nothing Gold Can Stay, and if you could say it
Oh,
for
God,
us.
let me try. I always screw up one verse, so you're going to have to help me. There's always one, because I've done this with C. Thomas Howell, Pony Boy, he's got it down pat, front and back, so he always shows me up. Nature's first green as gold, her heart is who to hold, her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. This is where I'm in trouble. I know the last part, only so an hour. Give me the next one.
I'm too nervous, I can't.
Does anyone know the next line? Leaf subsides at leaf, dawn goes down today, nothing gold can say, but there's one more line in there, I think.
So Eden sank to grief.
So Eden sank to grief. Yeah. So let's do it quick. Okay, nature's first green is gold, her heart is through the hole, her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides the leaf, Eden sank to grief, as dawn goes down today, nothing gold can stay. There we go.
Thank you very much.
You got it.
Hey, what's up, Ralph? How you doing?
What's up? Good.
Hey, my mom couldn't make it to Supercon this year, and you're one of her biggest crushes when she was young. I was actually wondering if you can shout her out real quick. Her name is Monica.
Are you rolling?
Yeah.
Monica, it's Ralph Macchio. Why you're not here, I could deal with it, but just sending a shout out to you. Thanks for being a fan, and get those pictures back up on the wall, okay?
Hello.
Harry Potter.
Hello, how are you?
Leviosa, or whatever it's called.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Expecto Patronum, boom, this whole side of the room goes. Okay, that's it.
So I'm an aspiring actress, and I was wondering, for somebody starting out in their career, if you had any advice for aspiring actors and actresses.
Well, I think the advice that I always give is, follow your passion, never give up, keep doing what you love to do. You could be creative for the rest of your life and explore and grow and hone your craft. Whether you can make a living at it or not is separate, and that's what we all aspire to be able to do what we love and make a living at it. But so the creative part of it never needs to end. As far as the career part of it, just keep getting involved with different productions, different things. If there's agency showcases, give you a chance to be seen. It's, there's no real formula that's perfect for everyone. Follow your dreams and don't give up, and just keep working at it, and also make sure you're supporting yourself as well when you need to. So
yes.
that's as Miyagi would say, that's the balance.
Thank you very much.
You got it.
Hello again.
Hi.
Hi. I was wondering, in correlation with some of the other questions about the Karate Kid, and since you weren't exactly satisfied with the way it ended, did you ever think about acting and maybe directing in one where you're the sensei and you're given to the next generation?
Well, that's a great question. I hear that. I cannot tell you how many times people, they roll down the way. Hey, how about this? You have a kid who's in trouble, and you need to, just remember my name. I gave you that one. I'm like, so I think, nowadays, it's so embraced to sort of bring back characters, nostalgic characters we grew up with years later. Right. The thing is, the script has to be great, the concept has to be great, because I feel for the same reason I didn't have any interest in cameoing in the remake of The Karate Kid. Right. I think things happen at a certain time for a certain reason, and The Karate Kid represents so many people's childhoods, and nobody necessarily wants to see, Daniel LaRusso 30 years later, unless there is a story that is created that is organic and real and makes sense, so to just do it, to sort of like take this general concept and just make him the Miyagi and try to find a kid, and it really needs to work on a deeper level than that. That said, there are ideas that have been floating around, discussions about it. It just hasn't come to fruition yet. And but I know the fans would love it. It would really be awesome for the fans.
Definitely.
So we are not giving up. It just has to be right.
All right.
It deserves to be done great.
Yes,
So
'cause my son's 6 and he needs to see the next movie.
next version.
with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hear you loud and clear. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
You're a Scorpio, right?
I am a Scorpio.
No wonder I like you. Well, I'm a Scorpio too.
All right.
Well, my question is, what's your favorite scene in My Cousin Vinny?
Wow. My Cousin Vinny has so many good scenes. I mean, the favorite scene, one of the favorite scenes I was in is the realization, I shot the clerk, that whole, when did you shoot him? What? Can of tuna. I just love that scene with Bruce McGill. He's a great actor who played the Sheriff Farley or whatever his character was. One of my favorite scenes, because none of us could control ourselves when we were shooting it, is Austin Pendleton's great work as the stuttering public defender. When it's just like more crap and more crap on these guys, and he just like, I'll take it, ladies and gentlemen of the joke. And it was just, we were just, if you look in the movie, next time you watch it, any shot Austin Pendleton's over there and it's shooting, and where it's Pesci, me, and Mitchell Whitfield, all you see is this. We're just looking down, trying to, that was fun. And obviously, basically almost everything Marissa did was awesome.
Oh, cool.
Thank you so much.
You got it.
Hi, it's me again.
Hey, man.
I didn't have the same luck in the Power Rangers Q&A, so you know how that goes. Alrighty, so if anybody understood that. So basically, my question is, can we expect you in any upcoming roles, any new projects you got going on, and can you still do the crane kick?
And can I what?
And can you still do the crane kick?
Oh, that was just a tag on. I'll deal with the first part of the question first, and I'll answer simply the second part of the question very, very much behind it. Yes, I have a few things. This September 10th on HBO, a new show is coming out called The Deuce with James Franco and Maggie Gyllenhaal, among a lot of other great actors. It's a David Simon show who did The Wire, among other great shows on HBO. I play a vice cop in the 70s who's on the take, Times Square, New York. This show ain't for the kids, folks. This is 42nd Street in the early 70s. There wasn't Lion King playing. So it's about that era of that time and you know, pimps, porn, and hookers. But I play a cop, and I'm in 5 of the 8 episodes, so I come in episode 2. That's cool. There's also a documentary coming out. The gentleman who directed Rocky and The Karate Kid, John G. Avildsen, directed 3 films I was in, the 3 Karate Kid films. He passed away recently, so we're very sad about that. But there is a documentary on his life called King of the Underdogs, and it comes out August 1st on iTunes and stuff like that. So I'm out helping promote that to carry on his legacy, because he was an amazing filmmaker and obviously changed my life. So as far as the crane, we'll segue into that. I don't do the crane kick. I would be asked to do it every day. The only time I've ever done it was on a military base when the troops did it with me, because I couldn't. So that usually shuts everybody up when I. But could I do the crane kick? I did it in wax on, bleep off, and that was only about. I'm not doing it today. So. if I do it, I'll give you a call.
Nice.
But I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
You need the VIP ticket for that. I mean, I have a quick question too.
Go ahead.
I really loved you on the Rob Lowe roasts.
Right.
And I was wondering if you were going to do any more roasts, because you were amazing on that.
Thank you very much. Doing the roast was. It's not easy. First of all, it's not easy to sit there for what you see an hour and a half, but it's like 3 hours when you shoot it, and just you're taking such shrapnel. They're just ripping your brains out. Just shooting like chunks of shrapnel hitting you, and taking you up into anyone on the dais is open season. Right. But Rob Lowe's just a little too damn pretty to let him get away with it. So it was fun to cut him up a little bit. And I thought the writing team that I had, we did a great job coming up with a personal approach where I was sort of like comparing how can this guy who's like got about this much talent and this much looks be a little more popular than me at the time, which I always beg to differ. But so it was fun to do that, and it was a good experience for me to get up and have to deal with that whole very jaded Hollywood room, and it's tough when you miss a joke because it gets really quiet, but when you nail one, it feels great. Yeah. So I don't think I would do it. It would have to be a personal connection in that way. I'm not just like a comic that just is like the guy.
That's part of why you were so great, though, because it's someone who's actually your friend.
Right, and at the end of the day, that was that whole speech was all about. I was ragging on myself, but at the end, I just wanted to attest that I was so much better of an actor than he was. It was fun. Good question.
Great.
Yes. Wonder Woman.
Hi. My boyfriend and his dad got me to see My Cousin Vinny a couple years ago, and I think it's the funniest movie on earth. My question is more like a personal one. Like, what do you attribute your success to, and what does success mean to you?
Oh, that's very nice. I think that, outside of being a bit lucky, because that is part of it. It really is. When I look at these films you read, like My Cousin Vinny, The Karate Kid, and The Outsiders, I mean, those are 3 films that are decades from being made, and people still watch them. They're on all the time. They talk about them. They share them with their kids. So some of that is just being in the right place at the right time. I think I try to be as honest always as I possibly can in performance and in life. I think I'd like to believe that comes back in a good way. So I will, purity and honesty and not being manipulative, which often is a big part of what we deal with in society all the time. I'd like to believe that part of being good, Not as nice as the wax on, F off guy. But I think a part of that, and I blame my parents because I look this young, so it's their fault. And I think that's helped a little bit.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, my name is Simpson, and it's a pleasure to finally see you in person. What I've done the last couple of months, because I work a lot, was show my siblings all your movies, and it's been awesome. I guess I'm here to see how was it to work with Pat Morita, and do you actually study and know karate at all in real life?
I don't know a lot of karate. I know everybody's like, what? Come on. Because people come up to me and say, they ask me all these, deep philosophical Eastern philosophy, martial arts questions. I'm like, I don't know, man.
Is the crane a real move?
The crane is not a real move. I mean, it's a magic. One time I said that. I said it doesn't really work, and it was like, it was like TMZ. Bum bum bum. Crane doesn't work. Bum bum bum. Harvey Levin. He's sucking on his thing.
This is the one thing you're saying that I'm not gonna. I refuse to
Yeah, but
believe.
we want to believe. I think that in our mind's eye and in our belief system, it will work forever.
Exactly.
The Pat Morita you asked about, correct? What, is that what you asked?
Yeah, that was part of it, because Crossroads was kind of an answer for me too. I thought you really did play music, because I really love that movie as well.
Yeah, but listen, I think like I said, Crossroads was just. I'm a big fan of the blues, so I just love being surrounded by that. As far as swinging back to Pat Morita, he was just the right actor in the right role of a lifetime, and he knew that from the moment he auditioned. And the producers didn't want him. Nobody, the director wanted him. The producer like, no way the guy in Happy Days is going to be in this movie.
Wow.
And they were, how wrong were they? Because Mr. Miyagi is part of the American fabric of America and cinema in this country. It's a character that's, like I said, it's the human Yoda who has a good sense of humor. And a belt that's JCPenney $3.98.
And iconic, and so is your character, and the whole movie is just so iconic.
All right, do you mind giving a shout out to Markson, Marknell, Melissa for me?
I don't know, there's a bunch of names. There's a Melissa, there's a Markson, there's a something else, but I'm giving a shout out to you. It's Ralph Macchio saying hey. Lots of shout outs at this.
So we have time for maybe one or two more questions.
Okay.
So what was it like to work with the legendary Stan Lee back in the day in Marvel Studios?
That's an interesting question, and I don't have the greatest answer. There is a Ralph Macchio that is not this one. That is involved with Marvel and Spider-Man and all this.
But the where I was going was with the name, you could have been Uncle Ben and Spider-Man with Melissa Tomei.
How about that?
Because they were still casting for Uncle Ben, so
right.
I thought it would have been nice to see you and her in a courtroom with Tony Stark, trying to defend Tony Stark or something.
Listen, I need you to run the Marvel Studios, and then we get that done.
Okay. And then what is it like?
I would write a letter tomorrow.
When there's two Ralph Macchios there, does it conflict with people? Like
sometimes. A lot of people say, "Why were you in the end credits of Thor?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I have no idea.
Because what it's weird.
I just wish I had a piece of the movie.
Because what is weird is there's a picture of him. It says on the bottom, it says "Not the Karate Kid."
Oh, really?
So do you do the same at your Comic Cons?
I guess I should.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Hi, I'm Lisa from Alabama. I met you earlier.
Hi, Lisa from Alabama. Beecham County?
No, not Beecham County. Walker County. My question was...
Do you work at the Sack of Suds?
No. No, I'm a teacher, high school teacher, so it's kind of dangerous. But my question was, what kind of music is your favorite, or do you have a particular musical artist that you prefer over others? I know you mentioned the blues just then. Is there anything else?
The blues are big for me. I've always been, since the early 70s, a huge Bruce Springsteen fan.
Yeah.
He's sort of underscored my life. I'll still go back. He's my go-to when I just need some music, lyrics, take me back. There are so many others. I love classical music as well. I love all types of classical music. And I made a short film called Across Grace Alley, which is on Netflix now. So anyone who has Netflix could see it. It's a 24-minute film. Marsha Mason is in it from The Goodbye Girl, another Oscar-nominated performance. Karina Smirnoff from Dancing with the Stars is in it, and it's laced with dance and beautiful classical music. So if you want to check out Across Grace Alley, and that one's for all ages, not like The Deuce on HBO.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
We can squeeze in one last one, so you'll be the last. Sorry, we did.
The
Well,
ultimate
you guys
warrior.
came up before already, so.
Ralph, it's an honor to be talking to you, and you coming down to South Florida. Let me ask you, you've been in 3 of my favorite movies, The Outsiders, Crossroads, and Beer League. What was it like working with Artie? Is he insane as the stories are?
He was good. Artie Lang, this is Beer League. This is like, this movie is just, it got this cult following. They made it for like, $1.98. We shot it in Jersey out by the Meadowlands Giant Stadium in that area in July. It was 100,000 degrees. It's a softball beer comedy. Artie Lang stars in this movie. He was the greatest, sweetest, nicest guy, dealing with his own demons, if we know Artie's story, and he still struggles with them. He was a gentleman to me. The one thing he said to me on one day on the set, he just turned around and goes, "I gotta tell you, having you in this movie actually makes me feel like I'm actually making a movie." And I just took that to heart, because he's just like, "You've been in like 3 classics," I think he's incredibly talented, funny, and this movie's not necessarily for the 7-year-olds in the audience either. But it's a fun one, and thanks for bringing up Beer League, Little Jersey.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So thank you. I'm sorry, but we have to wrap the question part. But we got to you earlier, so.
Give him
Oh
one.
gosh,
Give him
I
one
can't
quick
say
one.
no to
One quick
I can't
question.
say no to a 6-year-old. Go ahead.
My question is, when you were filming the Karate Kid movies, how did it make you feel?
It made me feel sore because I got beat up a lot. But then when we finished making the movie and I got to see it, it made me feel great because it's like 33 years later and we're filling a room with people who loved it.
Yes.
So it's awesome. Great question.
Well, it made all of us feel great too, and I was so excited when they asked me to moderate this panel because when I was a little kid, I really was positive that I was going to marry you, and I guess you're happily married, so I have no chance because I thought this is my one chance, guys. And there it goes out the window. But I wanted to say thank you so much for coming to Supercon. Now you're still going to be at your booth.
Yes, I'm heading back to the table now. I
Okay.
might stop at the restroom before I get there.
Okay,
But I'll be at the table for the rest of today, I guess till 7
Do you
o'clock
have
or
a
whatever.
Twitter that people can follow you on?
Sure, at Ralph Macchio, it's one word on Twitter. The Instagram is Ralph_Macchio, because the other one was taken by some imposter. And just look out for The Deuce, like I said, and check out the King of the Underdogs documentary. And there's some other news happening really soon that I can't quite talk about. So check me out on IMDb or follow me on Twitter, and you'll always get the news of what's going on. I'll see you at the table if you want to come on down.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause for
Thank you.
Ralph Macchio.